Welcome back to the channel. What an absolutely magnificent morning we've got today. We had snow overnight. It's freezing cold, but not that cold that you need to wear gloves. I've not got any gloves on. And I've come out now to a local woodland to try and do some woodland photography, which I don't normally do. And I think I berated it in one of my previous videos, but also to do some long exposure. And I'll flick you around. We're going to go straight into compositions in this video because I've just come across this one straight away, so I'm not going to ramble. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. So here we go. So I've got this beautiful winter scene here. I've got some reflections in the water with these trees. I'm not sure exactly focus. There you go. So I'm doing a long exposure here. I've got a 10 stop big stopper filter on, leaf filters. I made an amazing discovery on my D5600 the other night. I've always wanted to be able to see the histogram when I've taken the picture. And I have looked and looked and looked on YouTube and I have not managed to find it, but I've found it at the weekend. It was absolutely brilliant. There's an Indian chap who's done this video. It's in Indian, and so I couldn't understand what he was saying, but he demonstrates how to do it, and it's absolutely superb. If I can find the video again, I'll put a link in the description, because anyone that's got a D5600, I'm sure, will be sharing my pain. So anyway, back onto this. I'm in manual mode. So I'm in manual mode. You can probably just about see the composition there, actually. It's quite light. So I had to select timer. I focused automatically, locked it into manual focus, filter on, into bulb mode. I've locked my ISO down at 100, so I get the best definition that I can, best resolution. F14 is a decent enough depth of field for this because I'm not going miles into the distance and I don't need anything sharp focus right in front, so it's absolutely fine. And then it's just a case of that I'm using this today. This card that comes with your filters. I've had it for ages and I never really bothered with it, to be honest. But it does give you in here some ideas of put it back to front that, but shutter speed times for your filter against what it's saying in its aperture mode. But that's what I would do. I put it in aperture mode, find out what the shutter speed was normally without the filter on, and then I whack it into manual mode and use that little chart to convert into what it needs to be. So for this, saying about 30 seconds, I'll probably do about 35 because it's better to expose a little bit to the right of the histogram, or right as you're looking at it. So, but it just looks magnificent. There's fog that's coming in. If you look, there's fog in the distance, and I'm going to try and climb up to here to see what we can get in the woods, because woodland photography just looks so much better in the fog. Beautiful sunshine that side, mist and murk over there. So we'll see. Right, I'm going to take this picture. If it's any good, I'll put it up now for you. Well, I was just about to pack up, and the mist just cleared a little bit in the distance, so I thought, well, I might as well put the big girl on and take one with that. And I'll just show you now, you can have a little look. So you can see in the distance the mist there has just come in, so I've whacked it into aperture priority mode. I'll show you the composition here. What I'm trying to do is just use the layers of the mist. I'm not sure if you can see that, you can probably just see my ugly mug. Just use the mist to create layers and depth in the image. And the trees in the foreground are quite colourful and still browny sort of colour, so it's quite nice, simple composition. So if it works, I'll show you. If it doesn't, then we'll just move straight on. But it's absolutely beautiful here this morning, absolutely beautiful. Just met two ladies who have been walking around. They give me some ideas for some places to shoot, so if I can get there then I will, but I'm not sure what that mist's going to do, and I don't fancy getting lost in the woods. But we'll see. Anyway, onwards and upwards, on to the next composition. So, while I'm on my hike up this rather steep hill, I thought I'd answer a couple of questions that they've messaged me on. And I've got an Instagram page as well as on YouTube and my website, and I'll put them up now, but I'll link both of them in the description as well. And they were saying that, why do you shoot in aperture priority all the time? And it's quite simple really, because it's easier. The thing is with aperture priority that all I'm controlling is my depth of field, which usually is all I want to control. Now, there are occasions, don't get me wrong, and everybody goes on about this, it's a commonly known fact that there are occasions when you want to be in control of more. So for example, if you're shooting water and you want to get flow, you want to knock your shutter speed half a second or whatever it is, you might not be able to do that in aperture priority. Now you can, because you can just adjust the aperture to adjust your shutter speed. It's just a byproduct of changing the aperture on the camera. But they say that, you know, you're not a proper photographer if you don't shoot in manual. What rubbish, absolute rubbish. I shoot probably 95% of my photographs that aren't long exposure or of water, I shoot them in aperture priority. And it's because it's easier, because you don't have to worry about the photograph exposing correctly, because the camera's going to do it all for you. So I've done a video on the only setting you'll need. If you're not sure, you can have a look at that. For those that are, let me know if you agree or you disagree, because being honest, I don't care. As long as I get the image that I'm coming out for, I don't care what mode I'm in. And don't get me wrong, sometimes, you know, manual, absolutely, but only on occasion when you need to control shutter speed and ISO and aperture, which for me really is only when I'm shooting water. Now, photo's a little bit further up here and it's quite misty. It's starting to get a bit mistier, and the light is just coming through the mist. It's very soft, it's lovely. So I need to find a composition, and when I found it, I'll put you back on. So, made it to the top. It's freezing up here. No mist, which doesn't matter because look at that. A winter wonderland, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. So, quick change of plan. I'm going to do a big panoramic, I think, of this whole scene. Maybe have a play with it then. I might even be cheeky and do a light sky replacement on this, just to see what that looks like. Because I started doing a little bit just to play with it, see how easy it is. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to start going down sky replacements and all the rest. But sometimes it's just nice to have a play, especially when you're in sort of a lockdown and you've got nothing to do with your time. So anyway. Keys that Gary talks about, Gary Goff, who's a master of this type of photography with panoramics, is the first thing, level your tripod. Tripod is level Gary. Camera is level. And then the next thing is you need to focus it on whatever you're going to focus on. I'm in f16 here, so I've got the full depth of field that I can take. ISO 100, aperture priority. Once you've let it autofocus, you might as well just knock it into manual focus then, because it's going to be in focus all the way through the sweep. And then I use a timer for this, just so that I'm not knocking the camera when I'm pressing the button I've got shaky hands because it's so cold. Anyway, so just literally click it off once, let it take, and then just using the wheel here, you just literally move it, just a little bit like that, and then it's just go again. And literally on here I'll probably do maybe 10 and then stitch them together in Lightroom, so I'll show you what they look like when we get back in the studio. So I tried to film this about 4 times because it's just so busy. Anyway, I'm coming down the hill now, and I just thought that just talk a little bit about that flippant remark I made on the top of the hill when I was taking that panel about sky replacements, and I'm not going to go into sky replacements and all that debate and open all that up again, because I had a rant in a previous video. My views are well known on that. I don't oppose it. I'm alright with it, but I think it opens up a more important question of editing. And I got thinking that, well, basically all the images that I put on my YouTube channel are what you see after I've edited them. And I would say probably 50% of my work on my photographs is in Lightroom and Photoshop. There was some that I put up recently that they had a picture of the boat at Lytham from last year, where I took the horizon out, and it was just a very fine art sort of looking piece of work. And I think that moving forward, what I'm going to start doing, I'm going to start putting my raw images up with my edited ones as well, because I think that that'll show you then how much, you know what I mean? That'll show you how much editing I actually do to my photographs, and I do quite a bit. On some of them, I hold my hands up. I do quite a lot of editing, do a lot of cropping. I'll use gradient filters, I'll use radial filters, I'll even change colours sometimes. If I don't like the greens in something, I'll change the colours to make them more of an orange or a yellow. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because at the end of the day it's my photograph, and if I want it to look a certain way, then I will. And I think that this is the biggest sort of misconception when people start photography, because they go out with the cameras, and I know I would guilty of this absolutely. You go out with your camera, you've learned all about composition, you're practicing that, all the rest of it, you take some really nice shots, but they never quite look as good as the pros. And you're like, I don't understand, why doesn't it look as good? And then you realise that it's all down to editing. Now, Nigel Danson did a competition on his channel a couple of weeks ago, where basically he's got 3 photographs, and he sent the images, three raw images you got, and you had to edit one of his photographs, and then he entered it in his competition, and he drew it last week and all the rest of it. And he got 4 of his professional friends to do it as well. Now, he had over 2,000 people do this, and the difference in the way that people edit, you wouldn't think they were the same photograph. It's absolutely incredible. And Adam Gibbs, who I follow on YouTube as well, who's good, proper laid back guy, he takes some really nice images, and he always puts up his raw image and then puts up his finished image. And I think it's a brilliant thing, that, because when you do that, you can see how much editing has been done to it, and I think you might be quite surprised. And everyone does it different. My mate Sonny, who's got a YouTube channel as well, you should check his out. I'll put a link in the description for him. He's really good. He's got a YouTube channel that he does. His editing style's totally different to mine. It's really, really good. It's effective. The images look fantastic. Now, if I try to edit like him, I'd struggle, because that's not my style. And it's one of them that I think that you've got to get into editing, is what I'm trying to say, because a lot of these photographs that everyone puts up and that you see on Insta and everything like that, they're not what was really there. And I'm not saying it's wrong, because I do it, everyone does it, but don't get disheartened when the images that you take, because I did, certainly got disheartened and was like, I'm just going to give this up, I can't make it work. When you discover editing, Lightroom and Photoshop, and practice on them, you find that your images then go, they pop, they look superb. So anyway, enough rambling. I'm nearly at the bottom of the hill now. I'm hoping, coming back down to another reservoir now, so I might get some more long exposure shots. So I'll flick you back on when we're stood next to the water. Okay, well, I've got all my hands up. I've made a bit of a rank amateur mistake with this one. I've walked the wrong way around, because I didn't take into account the fact the sun was going to move, and it has, and it's now slap bang in the middle of where I wanted to take this shot. And to be fair, looking at it, I'm not sure if I like it that much anymore. So I'm going to call it there. Don't forget, if you like listening to me ramble on, just give us a like. You don't have to bother subscribing or like that if you don't want to bother. I've taken some handheld shots as I've been going round here, so if any of them have come out any good, and that's a big if, because my hand holding is not good. If they've come out any good, then I'll put them up now. I'll put the raw images up as well as the images that I've edited, so you can have a look and see what I've done to them. But until the next time, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you around. Wow, superb.